Hi, I'm Dr. Jim Siebert. It's time for our tropical outlook, our forecast on YouTube. Some things have been changing. It's getting a little quieter for us in the Gulf of Mexico, which we like to talk about. Well, let's talk about what's happened with Ida. So obviously it's now moving away. It's out to sea. But unfortunately, it just did a number in the Northeast where it kind of combined with another system and dumped, and I mean dumped, the rain up here. Now, down here in Southeast Texas, you know, we see this every now and again. Well, we'll get 10 inches of rain, which is still a big deal for us. But when you get 9, 10, 11 inches of rain in the Northeast with the subways and all that stuff, this is catastrophic to them. And we had 10 inches of rain. Anywhere you see the dark purple, that's about 10 inches of rainfall over the last 2 days. So anywhere from Bridgeport down to New York, south of New York, all the way to Philadelphia, they got into that. Where you see the reds, that's about 5 to 6 inches of rainfall. And so everybody got about 5 to 6 inches of rain in this entire area, just millions and millions of people. So it is going to be a real problem for them as they try to deal with that. So Ida, all the way from the time she made landfall down in Louisiana and all the way until she exited into the Atlantic again, has been a real problem. Let's talk about our local forecast, and really the only thing that's changing is that the high here is kind of expanding and it's moved to the west just a little bit, and the high that's going to impact us over the weekend is up here, and it's going to slide down towards us. You're going to start to see that a little bit more on Friday. So for Thursday, rain chances were 40%. Friday, they dropped down to 20% and goes down to 10% through most of the weekend until about Monday or so. And on Labor Day, the rain chances only go up to 20%. And what's happening again is the high pressure that we're talking about is very high in the atmosphere. So down here at the surface where you see the showers, these showers are below the highs. They're down below. So you get the moisture that's going on during the day, the daytime heating, and that moisture starts to rise, but then it runs into the sinking air. And so it just kind of collides. Now, in the Houston area, for example, we've had some heavy downpours because that moisture rises up, gets stuck, and then it dumps all that rain very quickly, but then it also dries out quickly, and suddenly it's out of fuel and it disappears. So these little storms we've been seeing in the Houston area, they pop up fast, they dump a lot of rain, and they disappear fast, and that's due to the high pressure aloft and all the rest of the things that are going on. Now, why am I telling you all of this is that this also is going to be driving the steering currents, which is what you see these wind vectors in the upper levels, and that's what drives tropical weather. So if you look, anything coming across Yucatan is going to get slammed right back into Mexico or pushed all the way into the Pacific Ocean. Okay, so now we've set that. Let's take a look at this. So here comes our next disturbance. It still is right here. So it's just kind of flirting with land and also the Caribbean. And then it's going to slide in most likely closer to Belize, south of Cancun, south of the Maya Riviera, and then comes into the Bay of Campeche, way down here to the south. So it only has a 10% chance of organizing now. That's because it's just kind of messed up with land. But as that disturbance moves over here, it might have a little bit of a chance, 20% chance over 5 days. So this thing is struggling anyway, okay? And then it has to cross land and goes into the Gulf. Now, if it does last that long and makes it to the Gulf, that's where the 20% really comes into play. And that's going to take about 5 days for that to happen because it's not moving in a hurry. But even if it does, it's going to get pushed here, and it really doesn't have a chance to come back because this high pressure is going to push it right into there. So no matter what happens, no matter what it becomes, it's not really an issue for us here in Southeast Texas. All right, let's talk about Larry for just a second. Well, actually before Larry, so we already have the next tropical wave that has just come off of Africa. This one has a 30% chance of organizing the next 5 days as well. Doesn't look quite as impressive as what Larry did when Larry came off the coast of Africa. But Larry is now a Category 1 hurricane, winds at 80 miles per hour, moving to the west at 18. So conditions are pretty good for this to develop and to grow. There's nothing in the way, nothing in the atmosphere that's changing. So watch what happens. It goes from 1 to a 2, 3, 4, becomes Category 4 by about Sunday. Could be here as early as Saturday if it grows. So we're talking about winds going up to 140, up to 150 miles per hour, just like what we had with Ida. Now here's the difference though, and this is a big difference, and this is important. You see how it's turning to the right? And it's turning long before it comes towards the Windward Islands or Puerto Rico or anywhere else for that matter. So now you'd see this, you go, okay, it's going to go right into the U.S. Because as it goes close to the U.S., the systems that are coming off, as now we're moving more into our autumn-like weather pattern, those systems, there'll be enough that will eventually pull this thing to the right, and it will stay away from the U.S. coast. So it looks really big, it looks really bad, but it really is going to have a tough time making it to the U.S., and we like that very much. And hopefully the thing behind it will do the same thing. So when you put all that into play, those are the only things that are happening right now. And of course, we're still trying to get rid of Ida. Kate fell apart yesterday. We are still moving towards the height of hurricane season, which doesn't happen until for another week and a half or so, and then it starts to taper off after that. So it is active right now, but there's nothing that I see, even in the longer range models, that looks like we'd see anything organizing in the Gulf of Mexico, except for what we were just talking about with that low that will go probably by next week. So things are looking better for us. We still have a long way to go, and of course the East Coast, the hurricane season, especially for September to October, Florida in the East Coast, they still have to look at that as well. So, but things are looking at least better for now. So today we have not quite as many storms to talk about as we did yesterday, but the folks up in New York City right now are thinking, where did we move so that we have all this tropical weather? They continue to have more tropical weather than we do in Houston. It's kind of ironic. We'll see you next time.